Today I'm going to show you how to make an edible frame to go on a cake. This has an edible print in it too, and it's finished off with roses and stands up straight on the cake. You need to start with some modeling paste. I have rolled some out here. I rolled it about 4 millimeters thick. This is going to be the back of your frame. Use a rectangle cutter just to mark the inside of your icing. You don't want to cut all the way through. Now get a sharp knife and cut the edges. It doesn't have to be perfectly even. I just did this by eye. And you just want to leave what looks like a frame in front of you. So you cut the sides, cut the bottom and the top so that it looks like a frame. Neaten up any edges just with the side of your knife and turn this over face down. Now you're going to make the back stand for it. So you need a bit more modeling paste and you're going to roll it in your hands just to make a bit of a sausage shape. You need to make this so that it can stand up straight on the cake. You can make it at a little bit of an angle so that the frame actually stands at an angle. Once you have your sausage shape, get a rolling pin and roll upwards, thinning just one part of this. You want the bottom part to be thicker, the top to be thinner. So it looks like this from the side. Now once again, get your sharp knife and trim off the edges and the top and the bottom so that it's nice and straight. And this will go on the back of your frame. Now I didn't need to use sugar glue here as my icing was still a bit tacky. And just place it on the bottom. You can use glue if you need to, and just make sure it's flush with the bottom of the frame. And just neaten up. Set aside. Now I made mine 2 days before I actually needed to use it. This is one that has dried for 2 days. So you can see it's set perfectly firm and it's ready to be decorated. Need another piece of modeling paste, about 1 to 2 millimeters thick. This is the front of the frame, so you don't want it too thick. Cut the same size rectangle out of the icing this time and lift out the middle. And try not to move it too much. You don't want to misshape the rectangle too much. Gently set aside and get your frame. Now I had an edible print that I wanted to put in here that my customer had given me, and she's given me permission to use in this video. And I used a bit of sugar glue all over the frame. I do find it easier to put sugar glue onto the icing before adding the edible print. But you will see that I tried to add the edible print. It didn't quite stick, so I had to add a little bit more glue just on the back of the edible print to get the two to adhere to each other. You don't need to soak it. You literally just need a little brush of glue so that it's a bit tacky. Gently ease it on nicely. Now again here I made a little bit of a mistake. When I put the frame over, I should have made sure it was stickier, but it doesn't matter, I do fix it. So gently ease over where you want your frame to be and feel with your fingers, and you can just see through the icing. Try and get it as even as possible. Again, you're going to be adding flowers, so it doesn't have to be perfectly in place. Gently turn over and now trim the edges of the icing. You do need your main frame to be dry to do this. I did try and do it on the day that I'd actually made the back part of the frame, and it didn't work very well. It just didn't work well at all. Neaten up again with the sides of your knife along the edges, and as you can see here, it did come off. I hadn't added enough glue. Try not to move it too much. The good thing about this modeling paste, it does hold its shape, so it didn't make too much problems for me. Now I've brushed around the edges again, just with a bit more glue and a little bit onto the edible print too. Pop my frame in place and just neatened up nicely as I went along. Just go gently, a little bit at a time. And just make sure it's sealed all the way around so the edible print doesn't pop up. If you need to, turn it over again and just trim off any excess, just to neaten it up. pictures in your frame. Now you're ready to decorate. I used these molds for my roses. There's various molds that you can get. I got these from Truly Madly Sweetly. I will put the link down below so you know where to get them. Just pop a little bit of modeling paste in the mold, press it gently and pop it out the back. And gently ease your flowers out. Now I have actually made some already to save time on the video. So gently put your frame down. It is pretty firmly set, so you don't have to stress too much. Now, because I used two different roses here, one's a little peony and the other one is just a rose, I decided to place the smaller roses with a little gap in between them and then the peony on top of that. So I placed them first to figure out where I'm going to stick some flowers and where I'm going to place them. I do find it easier than just taking them off and replacing them constantly. So these are all my small roses that I know where I'm putting. Use a little bit of sugar glue on the back. And you can put some on the frame too if you want. You just don't want to overdo it with the sugar glue. Gently add all your roses. Try not to push too hard. The paste does hold its shape, so it shouldn't misshape as you ease them onto the frame. And also at the bottom of the frame, make sure you keep within line of the bottom, because if you go over the base or over the bottom line, when you try and stand it up on your cake, it won't stand up because it will be, it won't balance. So just keep that straight at the bottom. There you go. All my small ones are stuck in place. Now I'm going to get my peony shaped flowers, and they're a bit bigger, and I'm going to place them. These, I did find it easier to brush along the back of the flower and then also a little bit on the frame. I found it stuck just a little bit better considering I was sticking it between two flowers. And I could add a little bit of pressure to get it down onto the frame. And gently go right all the way around and add some more. You can, of course, paint these afterwards if you want to. I probably would suggest painting them before putting them on the frame so you don't get any paint on the actual picture itself. My customer did want mostly white on her cake, so I've just kept it to the white theme. But you could use a really nice metallic paint, make these gold, silver, any color you like. Or you could actually just make the roses a color paste before you actually make them. You can also add some leaves in between just to pretty it up a little bit more. But once you've got the basic shape of a frame, you can basically do anything you want with the design itself that goes on the frame. The main theme of this cake was roses though, so that's why we have roses. And there's your frame, ready to go and stand on the cake. Thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed that. Any questions, feel free to message me. Leave a comment below of what you'd like to see next. And don't forget to like, share, and subscribe, and set your notifications on to see more from me. Thank you.